good start to your big league career. And another strikeout for Freddie Peralta.
There's a strikeout, back-to-back Ks. And he got him. He went with a fastball, and he strikes out the side. He got him. Then a strikeout. Freddie fastball making his Miller Park debut here tonight. It'll be his 4th major league start. 9th rated prospect in the system. He has been outstanding for the Brewers thus far. We're ready for the Royals and the Brew Crew. It is game 1 of a quick 2-game series, interleague baseball from Milwaukee tonight. Hi, everybody. Great to have you with us tonight. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. We'll hear from Sophia Minard in just a moment. Well, Freddie Peralta is becoming the talk of the clubhouse, the talk of the town. And if he keeps stringing together starts like we saw in Pittsburgh Rock, he's going to become the talk of baseball.
Yeah, we love his smile right after that Colorado game. But the key for Peralta, I mean, this guy has got the poise of a pitcher that's been out there 10 years. It doesn't seem to be anything really rattles him. He's 2-0, outstanding earned run average. The Brewers have won all 3 of his starts, and when he throws strikes, he's normally pretty good. His only bad start came against the Twins. He walked 6. He's never going to be a guy that's going to give up a ton of hits. Only 6 hits allowed in his first 3 starts. He attacks you with a fastball, and for some reason these hitters just don't pick it up, and he blows it right by him, averaging almost 14, 15 punch-outs per 9 innings.
Well, the Brewers are a little down offensively. Got a couple of hobbled Brewer position players. We'll get more into that with Sophia right after this. Rated best, Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite, great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
After splitting a 4-game series with their division rivals, the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend and an off day yesterday, the Brewers now welcome the Kansas City Royals for a 2-game interleague series. Good evening, everyone. Sophia Minert here at Miller Park, and a number of Brewers injury moves, a number of good news and bad news for the crew here tonight. We'll start with third baseman Travis Shaw out of tonight's lineup, but Craig Counsell saying they're hopeful that he can avoid a disabled list stint as he continues to deal with a right wrist sprain. They're hopeful that he could get him back Thursday in Cincinnati. But for Lorenzo Cain, that is not the good news that they were hoping for. He will go on the 10-day disabled list with a left groin strain, which kept him out of the game on Sunday against the Cardinals. On the season for him, it's been a great impact year for him in his first with Milwaukee, a .291 average, 8 home runs, 26 RBIs. They have called up Keon Broxton for his first appearance of the season. It's been a .263 average for him in AAA with the Sky Sox. We hear now from manager Craig Counsell on what this means for Lorenzo Cain moving forward.
We put Lorenzo on the disabled list with left groin strain. You know, he basically, you know, after kind of going through treatment the last couple days, he's unable to play, and we think it's mild, and we think it's going to be a short stay, but I don't think, we just didn't think it was worth kind of waiting 3 or 4 days and seeing if he was ready to go.
With Lorenzo Cain out in center field, Christian Yelich will take over, hopefully as a leader both in the outfield and at the plate. The Brewers looking to start this series here against the Royals. We've got first pitch and lineup coming up next.
Pastime.
Pitch here in the Miller Park.
First Miller Park start of his young career. Freddie Peralta gets the ball tonight. Cool and rainy outside Miller Park on this Tuesday night. Roof is all closed up. Panels are closed up as well. The ball has a chance to fly a little bit tonight. And a couple of fly ball pitchers. There's the former Brewer manager and World Series winning manager with the Kansas City Royals, Ned Yost, now in year number 9. And Ned Yost and the Royals having a rough year this year. Brewers have already seen him once in Kansas City, won back-to-back games there. Royals are 30 games under 500 at 24-54. Whit Merrifield leads off. Rosell Herrera gets a start in right, then Mike Moustakas. In the middle, it's Salvador Perez, Lucas Duda, and Alex Gordon, with Escobar, the former Brewer, Adalberto Mondesi, and Jacob Junis rounding out the Potawatomi, Kansas City batting order tonight.
I know a lot of folks are anxious to see Freddie Peralta toe the rubber here at Miller Park. The fans have been talking about him a lot 4th start, first start here at Miller Park. His number is very good at the big league level. 25 strikeouts in 15 2/3 innings, averaging almost 15 per 9.
He was fantastic against the Pirates, using mostly fastballs in that game. And now ready to make his home debut. And his first pitch is in there for a strike, and away we go. Whit Merrifield leading off for the Royals. He is one of their best players. Their hits leader, has 81 hits this season. Also their leader in stolen bases. And a swing and a miss, and it's quickly 0-2. Peralta's a steady diet of fastballs that are located all around the corners, up top. He pitches high in the strike zone.
And he gets hitters to swing out of the zone. You're not talking about 97, 98 miles an hour. That last one at 92. He hides it well. Ball just jumps at you.
He broke out a nice slow curveball against the Pirates that had Pittsburgh off balance that entire game in his last time out. And there's the curveball. Misses low with it. It's been a little bit of a delay to get the start that he so wanted here at Miller Park. But because the Brewers were postponed due to rain last Wednesday, they pushed Peralta back from Saturday to Tuesday here. So he's had a little extra time between starts. And I think there's probably a little bit of concern on the command when a starting pitcher like Peralta, who's been pitching in a regular rotation, whether it be AAA or the big leagues, is a little bit off his routine. But you won't hear that complaint from him. He's just happy to be in the big leagues.
Yes, sir. And he's done well. It's all about throwing strikes. The only bad start for him was a 6-walk appearance in 4 innings against Minnesota. Did not walk a batter his last time out. Let's see if he starts mixing in the off speed a little bit more. Slider, curveball. He'll throw a changeup every now and again.
2-2 the count on Merrifield. Interleague baseball the next 2 days. Tomorrow is a day game, and then the Brewers will head to Cincinnati. Brewers had a day off yesterday after dropping the weekend against the Cardinals. They had won the first 2 games against St. Louis and then lost the Saturday Sunday games. Took yesterday off. Cubs lost as well. So the Brewers open play today with a 2.5 game lead in the National League Central Division, and tied for the best record in the National League with the Atlanta Braves.
See, pretty good fastball hitter, just fouling one back right down the middle of the plate. 94 miles an hour.
Rosell Herrera, the switch hitting right fielder, young prospect, due next. Royals are in search mode, and they are getting a look at a lot of their young players, their prospects, and they are also shopping heavily some of their more familiar names. There's a curveball and a called strike 3. Buckled his knees, and Peralta opens this game with a K.
Just another pitch for these guys, these hitters to think about. Curveball right down the middle of the plate, and you can't be looking for that. I mean, scouting report is you're going to see a lot of fastballs, but you get that for a strike, tip your hat.
So here is Herrera now. It's off to a great start with Kansas City, hitting at a .290 clip at his first 32 plate appearances. He has 9 hits, 5 RBIs already. Gets the start in right field tonight for Ned Yost, and you can see he has a big, powerful swing at 6'3". Kansas City won yesterday. They had to play a makeup game against the Angels yesterday. They were supposed to have yesterday off, unlike a lot of teams who don't have roofs on their ballpark. There's a lot of makeup games to be played, and the Royals picked up a 2-0 win against the Angels at home.
For only their 4th win in the month of June.
It has been a rough go.
Yes, it has. Not scoring runs.
4 wins, 18 losses in June. And the Royals' production on the runs column, 18 of those 22 June games, they've scored 3 runs or fewer. 3 balls and a strike. 3-2. Royals won 2-0 yesterday, but they are dead last in the month of June in winning percentage, runs per game, averaging just a little over 2, team batting average, and 28th means you are 3rd to last in the major leagues in team ERA. So it has been a rough sequence here for Kansas City.
Yeah, so if you're the Milwaukee Brewers, you got to focus and you got to play good baseball and win 2 games.
One thing the Royals do well is they play excellent defense. It's always been a signature for Kansas City, even in their playoff runs, their World Series winning season.
3rd best in the American League.
Got some familiar names still, guys like Mike Moustakas, Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, Escobar, all part of those World Series teams. Little chopper to first base, nice and easy for Aguilar. And Herrera is retired.
Well, let's check out the Brewers defense. You see Braun, you got Yelich and Thames in the outfield. Lorenzo Cain on the disabled list. You know, bad groin. You got Hernan Perez at 3rd. Travis Shaw sits this one out, a bad right wrist. Brad Miller, VR, Aguilar round out the infield. And Manny Pena behind home plate tonight.
First chance to start at the shortstop position at the big league level. Brad Miller, his 2nd start since being called up. Miller was playing shortstop in AAA. And he is a super utility player, can play all around the infield, can play all outfield spots as well. We saw him at first base in this series, and he got a start at second base as well.
Very smart player. He went to Clemson.
Oh, wow. Dropping to Clemson already. That didn't take long, just a few games.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to get next to Miller and have a little?
I had a chat with him.
Did you wear your roadside cone outfit?
The orange?
All orange, head to toe?
No. Had a nice quick chat. Told him I'd tell him some stories, you know, on the next plane ride.
Moustakas with a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. They still wear the white shoes at Clemson. That was the first college I remember wearing white shoes.
And didn't have stirrups.
Trendsetters.
Pant legs all the way down to the ankles.
All that swagger there with the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, we were good, man.
Mullets and all. Here's the 1-2, and Moustakas is late on the fastball. Nice catch up there. Sporting the Paul Molitor powder blues. Peralta trying to make it a 3-up 3-down inning. Deals a 1-2, and he got him. He went to the curve, and Peralta starts it with a bang in his Miller Park debut. 3-up 3-down with 2 Ks. We head to the home first. Brewers coming up. Craig Counsell, 4th year as the Brewers skipper. The Brewers come in with a record of 45-32, tied for the best mark in the National League. Potawatomi batting order tonight for Counsell. Some big names are out. Those who are in with Thames, Braun, and Yelich. Aguilar, Miller, and Perez make up the middle, with Villar, Pena, and Peralta rounding it out. Essentially left, right, all the way down the batting order. Jacob Junis will make start number 16. Has been giving up a ton of home runs this year, but he is a strikeout pitcher as well, partner.
Yeah, you get the strikeouts, he gives up the home runs. Second most home runs in the American League. Only Cole Hamels has given up more. He's given up 19 of them. He's lost 5 consecutive games. He started out the year 3-1, so he had a good start to his season, but has come upon rough times as of late.
Has not won a game since May 18th. It's been over a month since his last win. And a called strike 3 hits the back door with a breaking ball, and Thames with an about face.
Well, we talked about the Royals defensively. 39 errors, 7th best in all of baseball, 3rd in the American League. Gordon, Merrifield, and Herrera in the outfield. Moustakas, Escobar on the left side. Mondesi, Lucas Duda on the right side, and Salvador Perez, the all-star catcher, behind home plate.
Here is Ryan Braun hitting second tonight for Craig Counsell. Trying to change up his lineup a little bit. Mostly it has to do with the left-right combination. And Braun on the first pitch down the left field line. That is up and one hop off the fence. Braun on his way to second with a double and wasting no time. Double number 13 to go along with his 8 home runs, and a 1-out double here in the first inning for Braun.
Yeah, it looked like a fastball that was middle in. It was supposed to be a cutter, I think, but it just stayed straight. And Braun got it down on the trademark just a little bit. Had a little sink to it as it got out there. 1-out double.
First time all year he has hit second in the lineup. That's actually the spot where he hit when Ned Yost was managing the Brewers when Braun was called to the big leagues. That lasted 1 game, and then he hit third most of the rest of his career. So it is Yelich hitting in the 3 spot here tonight. Without Kane, no Shaw. Kane's on the disabled list, and Shaw is unavailable due to a wrist injury. They do not expect that to be lasting. But the Brewers will have this 2-game series with Kansas City and then off to Cincinnati. So at some point, if Shaw does not recover like they hope, I'm sure he is a DL candidate as well, which I know he's trying to avoid.
Yeah, you got to shuffle it up a little bit when you have those 2 guys out of the lineup. This is the first time Yelich has been in a number 3 spot in the batting order this year.
It's typically been Braun, Aguilar, and Kane. Santana has a few games there. Into the opposite field. That is way back, and Yelich sends one out of here. A 2-run home run. Opposite field smash by Christian Yelich. And the Brewers strike first here tonight.
Doesn't matter where you hit, right?
His last 2 home runs are to the opposite field, and Yelich down the gauntlet he goes. His 11th home run of the season, 7 of those at Miller Park this season.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do against a team that has scuffled. Get on top of them early and don't let up.
Jesus Aguilar now with 1 away. 2 runs are in.
Same pitch that Ryan Braun hit to left field. That one trying to tail away from Yelich, but got a little bit too much of the plate.
Well, the Brewers will try to break the cycle here, because in their last 2 games, both losses, they've scored 2 runs in the first inning and then did not score any more the rest of the game in each of the last 2 games. And so Milwaukee will hope to flip the script here tonight. Take that early offense, especially with a young pitcher on the mound and Freddie Peralta.
They give him some runs to work with, and the Brewers have been able to do that quickly.
2-1 pitch. Aguilar right off the end of the bat. That'll leave it at 2-2. How about the sweet swing of Christian Yelich?
Yeah, didn't try and pull it. If you try and pull it, it's probably an easy ground out to second, but he let it travel as that ball was trying to tail away from him and knocked it out of here to left field. Number 11 for Yelich.
On the Powerball home run leaderboard. Into the soup, as they say.
Yeah.
Maybe a bowl of chili tonight.
That slider for Junis. He's got a good one. He's got a real good slider. That one a bit flat. Matter of fact, you know, the scouting reports on Junis, more sliders than fastballs ordinarily.
2-2. The pitch is outside for ball 3. Giving up a lot of home runs, especially pitching in a pitcher-friendly park at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. It's a bit alarming for Ned Yost, his bench coach Dale Swaim. There's a line shot foul. Good to see those two guys again, Swaim and Yost. Swaim replaced Ned Yost as the Brewers manager in 2008. Ned was let go with 12 days left in the season. Quite the headline that year. But the Brewers, with Swaim running the club, able to get to the postseason for the first time in 26 years. And both certainly have their place in Brewers franchise history for that.
Yes, indeed.
Fly ball to right. It's going to slice foul in the seats.
And Ned was credited with being very patient with a very young group of players all coming up around the same time. J.J. Hardy and Prince, Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, Ryan Braun added to that list later on.
3-2, and Aguilar strikes out. To the breaking ball goes Junis, picks up his second K.
Well, let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win. Well, it didn't take long for the Brewers. We talk about home runs. Junis has given up 20 now. Peralta has only allowed 2 home runs in 15 starts before tonight. That goes big leagues and AAA. That's pretty impressive. We'll see the secondary pitch for Freddie. Already tonight, the curveball's been a good pitch, and we talked about the Kansas City struggles in the month of June. Only 4 wins in June.
Here is Brad Miller now for the Brewers. His first start at the shortstop position. His first at bat as a Brewer. On the first pitch he saw, he drove in a run. That was in the first inning of Saturday's game. Started the year with the Rays, playing mostly first base with Tampa Bay. That is quite an unusual combination of positions played, first base and shortstop.
Tiger Ernie Banks.
I like it. 2-1 pitch. Miller fouls it away. That'll be a chance for Miller to settle in a little bit. He was designated for assignment by the Rays, and Brewers sensing an opportunity. Maybe they've done very well giving players second chances, sometimes third chances, and they're hoping Miller is another one on the list. You think about guys like Hernan Perez, who was a young player but hadn't quite broken through with the Tigers. Jesus Aguilar, Manny Pena. I mean, you could just almost go all the way around the Brewers lineup. And new places have proven valuable. Good scouting. Miller draws the walk. That's Jordan Baker calling the balls and strikes. He's the tallest man on the field right now at 6'10". Greg Gibson, Jerry Lane, Vic Carapazza.
So you figure Jordan Baker's going to be a high ball umpire. I don't think he can get down to the low strike, can he? That's a big man, tall.
Here's Hernan Perez. Perez with a runner at first and 2 away. If you're just joining us, you're just coming home from work. Christian Yelich with a 2-run home run in this first inning to give the Brewers a jump start tonight. And so far the scouting report has held true with this Kansas City pitcher Jacob Junis. Strikeouts and home runs. Strikes out a lot of guys and he gives up a ton of homers.
And the only other thing is early innings, first 3 innings, he's usually pretty good. It's after that when he starts giving up runs.
Perez gets the call at third base for Shaw tonight. Travis dealing with that right wrist injury.
They tried to play through it, just couldn't do it. Had to be taken out of the game.
Mid at bat, right?
Yep, on Sunday with 2 strikes. Just a little bit too much for him to deal with at the plate.
And a wave and a miss. Junis gave him the breaking ball and strikes out 3 in the inning, but gives up 2 hits and a walk. One of those hits, a 2-run opposite field blast. Christian Yelich has the Brewers on top 2-0 tonight at Miller Park.
The Brewers on the board with a 2-run home run here at Miller Park, giving young starter Freddie Peralta a 2-0 lead. And remember, we met Freddie Peralta's family when he made his memorable debut at Coors Field on Mother's Day. His family back here now for his home debut here at Miller Park, joined now by his mother Octavia, his girlfriend Maritza, and his father Pedro Peralta. And Pedro, sabemos que usted siempre tiene mucha emoción cada vez que ves a Freddie jugar, pero ¿puedes describir sus emociones ahora viéndolo jugar aquí en Miller Park por la primera vez?
Bueno, es una emoción, ya tú sabes, tremenda, pero hasta ni palabras me salen para decirte, pero nada, estamos aquí para apoyarlo por primera vez en su propio play, ¿tú entiendes? A ver qué lo mejor que pueda hacer.
Well, I asked Pedro Peralta, he's always very emotional. He cries every time that Freddie Peralta takes the mound. So I asked him to describe his emotions. Here watching his son pitch for the first time at Miller Park. And he gets the punch out there. Dad fired up about it, but he said it's just a tremendous emotion. He said they wanted to be here to see him pitch at the home field at Miller Park for the first time, something he said that they didn't want to miss, and be here to support him in this moment. Pero Pedro, todo el éxito que Freddie ya ha tenido en sus primeros partidos, ¿Qué piensas de la confianza que Freddie tiene?
No, ya ese muchacho es tremendo. Ya la confianza él la tiene. No parece un jovencito así subido a Grandes Ligas por primera vez. Eso es impresionante.
I asked Pedro just how he feels seeing the success that Freddie has had over his first 3 starts. And he said, you know, it's just been great to see him. He said the confidence that he has is something he's always had as a kid, and it's great to see him come up and have this kind of start. So BA and Rock, Peralta family, very excited to be here at Miller Park for the first time.
Well, it's been great to get to know them, and thanks to Sophia for allowing us to know them better, right? I mean, it's so important for the families to be part of their kids' progress and to make it here to the big leagues. I mean, it is such a long shot to even start with, but to be able to get into their story a little bit. And remember, his first start was on Mother's Day. Everybody knows what happened there. 13 strikeouts. His next start was on his dad's birthday. So then he goes to Pittsburgh. There was no family around, and of course he had a great game there and earns this start here at Miller Park. They are from the Dominican Republic, from Moca in the Dominican Republic.
Just terrific work by Sophia to be able to do that. How many sideline reporters can do that?
And she called a little play-by-play. So
yeah,
it affords us the opportunity to get to know the personalities.
They're
a little bit better.
Yeah, family locked in.
See that knee bouncing up and down? Yep. That's what families go through, right? Doesn't matter if it's at the big league level or the little league level. If you have kids and you watch them compete, you know what we're talking about. That is a swing by Duda, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Freddie Peralta, much to the delight of Team Peralta.
Yep, and look out. We talked about secondary pitches being important for Peralta as he progresses, and right here he gets a swing. Duda tried to hold up, couldn't do it. And he gets the call from third base umpire Vic Carapazza.
I think one thing you notice right away, Rock, is the downward action of the curveball is a lot more pronounced than it was in Pittsburgh even. I mean, that is straight up, straight down.
Yeah, and that's tough to throw for strikes, but you know, when you're ahead in the count and you throw it out of the same arm slot as the fastball, you're going to get some swings with 2 strikes. It's okay to throw that pitch out of the zone.
Here's Alex Gordon. He takes a fastball away.
And when you get your fingers on top of the baseball and follow through, that's where you get that downward action. Get the fingers on the side of the baseball, it's going to be more of a slurvy curveball, the kind of breaking pitch that he had in Pittsburgh.
Now you wonder why Lucas Duda would swing at a pitch that far outside, but most hitters you see spin like that, curveball spin, you're thinking starting there it's going to at least come back a little bit toward home plate, but that one dove straight down, and that's why the defensive swing.
I don't think Kansas City and the scouting report on Freddie had any idea he was going to throw this many curveballs this soon.
Shift is on for Alex Gordon. And he rips one foul. Look out. Gordon is one of the players that the Royals targeted to sign long term. Just rattled up his first base coach, Mitch Meyer. Gordon is now in the middle of a 4-year deal that will expire after next season. There are options for years after that. Did he go? He did not. Able to check his swing.
He wanted to, though. He hides it well. He'll get swings out of the strike zone, but maybe not that high. Going either way.
So 2 outs and a runner at first and Gordon. Here is Alcides Escobar. Escobar has blossomed as a major league player with the Royals, but it's been a bit of a setback this year. He's typically been a .250 hitter and has a little bit of pop in his bat. A lot of triples there, of course, in Kansas City. Free swinger, doesn't get on base much, but he's hitting just .201 right now. And he's actually played multiple positions other than shortstop. He went years without playing any other position besides shortstop, and considered to be one of the best in the game. Won a Gold Glove for the Royals back in 15.
And a guy that you can count on to play every single day. He doesn't take too many days off.
He has gotten starts at third base and center field this year. Royals like Adalberto Mondesi as their shortstop of the future. This could be a player who's on the move in Escobar as he hits one to right. Little lazy fly ball for Thames, and Peralta through the inning. Another scoreless frame, and Family Peralta all the way from Mocha, Dominican Republic, enjoying this one.
Your ballot filled with Milwaukee Brewers to ensure the crew is well represented at the Midsummer Classic this July in Washington, D.C.
Jonathan Villar, first ball swinging, and he bounces back to the mound. Junis takes care of him for out number one. I wonder how many Brewers are going to make their way to the All-Star game. I was having a chat about that earlier today with Jason Schauger, and you start thinking about Josh Hader, feels like a lock. Jeremy Jeffress is All-Star worthy. Aguilar certainly has a chance to play his way there. Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, Shaw's having a great year. I mean, you could go down the list, and the Brewers in first place means there should be multiple Brewers. If not, it'll be symbolic of what a connected team this is and how they do rely on their entire 25-man roster for sure.
It's not just one or two guys that are the stars every night. Somebody else, somebody different.
Craig Counsell's done a great job here in his third full season, fourth season overall. And one thing you like the most about what's happening here in Milwaukee is how connected the manager is with the general manager David Stearns, owner Mark Atanasio. They all seem to be pulling on the same rope, right? And they all have an idea on what is going to help the ball club. They communicate that well.
Yeah, it just doesn't even stop there. I mean, it's down to the players. I mean, they understand what their role is. They understand they're going to be a big part of things. Even if they get off the slow starts, they're going to get ample opportunities to get things together.
Manny Pena, the former Royal, at the plate.
Players have all bought into the process here. That has only a bit ahead of schedule, if you will. Of course, we're not even halfway through yet, but things are looking pretty good here.
Brewers sitting at 13 games over 500 as Pena draws the walk. Second walk issued by Junis, and that'll give Freddie Peralta a chance to get a bunt down, perhaps.
No, I said that you know, Jordan Baker, you know, 6'10" is a high ball umpire.
Yeah.
I lied. I mean, that was a pitch that you figure a 6'10" umpire behind home plate's going to call.
Well, maybe he overcompensates.
Can't see that low strike.
That's a strike on Peralta.
He's trying to get down there, though. He would have been perfect back in the old days with the old balloon chest protector.
Oh, I like those.
You don't have to get down as far.
Just hold that thing in front of you. It's like a big shield. Whatever happened to those, Rock?
Yeah, well,
that seemed very safe. I think umpires should bring that back. Never just lay that on your back when you're catching. You know, umpire gets a little lazy back there.
Yeah, well, they lean on you once in a while, but
I can see Bruce Fleming just leaning all over you.
Ken Kaiser.
That's a lot to hold up. Peralta bunts it foul.
What I used to hate was when there was a guy on first and I'm up in a crouch, you know, getting ready to, you know, block a pitch. They sit there with their hand on your back. I said, hey, Ken, can't do that, man.
Keep your hands to yourself. That's not a pillow.
I'm not a wall you can lean on here, you know.
Yeah, but big boy like you, I mean, it looks so inviting.
Yeah, but
on a hot day,
throws you off balance.
Peralta unable to get the bunt down, and he will take a seat. Strikeout number 4 for Junis. 4 of his 5 outs have been via the K.
Remember Kirk Kaiser?
Oh, for sure. Ken Kaiser.
Ken Kaiser. Ken Kirk Kaiser, we used to call him, and he was a professional wrestler for a period of time.
Yeah, he could fill up the space back there, no problem. Eric Gregg. There used to be a day when there were only American League umpires and only National League umpires. They didn't cross over.
No.
So the American League actually developed a little bit of its own strike zone.
And because of the balloon chest protector, because they were right behind the catcher and they actually looked right over the catcher's head. National League has always been in the slot like they are now.
I mean, really, they could sit up here with us. We got a great view of it. We call pitches every night.
Oh, yeah.
We're never wrong either.
Yeah.
That was a ball. I saw that one all the way. We got monitors and technology and the strike zone box. We got it all. We got everything we need. Thames in a 1-2 count.
Yep, the game's really easy up here.
Sure is.
Feels like you have all day to decide whether to swing or not. And I, if anybody, could tell you that it's not easy down there. Just look at the back of the baseball card.
You made all your outs in the big leagues, Rock.
Yeah. Plenty of them.
Pena going hard back into the base, shaking his right hand. Brewers got a 2-run homer from Yelich in the first. Power hitting Eric Thames at the plate with 2 outs here in the second. Shift is on. And Thames takes a breaking ball outside. That didn't miss by much.
Pretty good pitch. That's the pitch that he struck out on his first time up. Got caught looking at this pitch exactly. Jordan Baker saying it went around this strike zone.
A 1-out walk. Now 2 outs. And Pena back to first. Junis has a great move, and he's got some good instincts to throw over between steps of the base runner, or if a runner is leaning. Pena's still grabbing at that ring finger on the right hand. That's his throwing hand. Thames down on strikes. He chased the breaking ball. And 2 more Ks for Junis. He's got 5 already, but the Brewers lead it 2-0. Chicharito in Mexico is what I meant to say.
My guy's the second game, Germany.
Oh, is that right? That's who you took? Going with the heritage?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Are you a Chicharito fan?
Yes.
Moving on. Third inning now. Here is Alberto Mondesi, the son of Raul Mondesi. Freddie Peralta with 4 strikeouts. And Rock, there have been 12 outs recorded in this game. There have been 9 strikeouts already.
Yeah. Yep.
Peralta has issued just the 1 walk. The only base runner of the game was Alex Gordon. He has struck out 4. He struck out 4 of the first 5 he faced. Mondesi hitting 8th in the pitcher spot after that, and then to the top of the order. And a line drive, base hit. Over to cut it off is Thames. He does so. Mondesi on his way to second. Throw comes in off the mark. And the speedy Mondesi is in with a hustle double.
Yeah, got a hanging curveball that time and ripped it over the head of Jesus Aguilar. First hit of the game for Kansas City. Second base runner. Yeah, that one just kind of hung up there, just kind of spun up there and didn't break a whole lot. And Mondesi took advantage of it. Pretty good speed wheeling around first base.
Well, his dad was something else, Raul Mondesi. One of the great throwing arms in baseball history. So a man on, the pitcher Junis up there to try to bunt the runner over.
And he had big power.
Had it all, didn't he? He was like one of those 5-tool guys.
Yep, can run a little bit. I bet Dad could have thrown him out on that
yes.
double.
They would not have run. He wouldn't have run on his dad on that play, or else he'd have been headed for the dugout.
Right.
I remember Raul Mondesi had a tattoo of a cannon on his arm, and that I always felt was the perfect tattoo for Raul Mondesi.
Right.
Brewers expecting a bunt. Aguilar in on the grass. And Junis gets it down. Aguilar's going to go to third. The throw is in time. The tag in time. And they got him at third base. The big man has quick feet. Barehanded that ball. And a perfect strike to Perez for the lead out.
Yep, and the Royals are going to take a look at it to see whether Perez actually made the tag. The ball beat the runner to third base. Remember, Mondesi has really good speed.
Little pop tag on the shin.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Good tag by Hernan Perez.
Great throw, too, from Aguilar. This guy can move his feet well. It's fun to watch.
He's not just a hitter, is he? Guy can play some first base.
First ball swinging. Merrifield high in the air to right. Thames easing over to make the catch for out number 2. Well, that inning turned quickly. Instead of a runner at second, nobody out, the Brewers in a position to get out of this with a runner at first. Rosell Herrera now the switch hitter. Second time up against Peralta. Don't really blame Mondesi, right, for that sprint to third. Most of the time on a bunt like that, you're going to be able to make it to third base. It has to be a perfect play from the fielder, in this case the first baseman, and it was, and so the out is recorded.
If you get a little bit of a high throw, he's going to be safe. A little bit off the mark, he's safe. Yeah. It's just a good play by Aguilar. Aguilar realizing he's going to be bunting. He is right on top of the play, and a good throw to get him.
And you say bare hand, but look at the size of those mitts he has.
Yeah.
It's like having another glove.
Pick it up and throw all in the same motion. Yeah, you don't have any issue with Mondesi trying to get to third base there. Had to be a terrific play, and that's what got him.
Those are winning plays. That's what you like to see with the Brewers this year. They are a much improved defensive team. Didn't start out the season that way, but it has proven accurate. The scouting report. That one's hammered into left center field. Braun got a good jump, and he is there to make the catch. Side retired. Inning is over, and a leadoff double goes for naught. Visitor to Miller Park, the newest Milwaukee Buck, Dante DiVincenzo, throwing out the first pitch, going with a high fastball as well, just like everybody else in baseball. Well done. And welcome to Milwaukee. That was beautiful, man. You feel good about your throw?
Yeah, I just wanted to get into the plate, honestly.
Yeah, you look like you wanted to get it over with as fast as possible.
Nah, the people before me didn't mess up, so I couldn't be the one to mess up.
Yeah, well, it's great to have Dante here. First-round draft pick, one of 4 Villanova Wildcats to be drafted this year. Before we get into what's next for you in your pro career, what an amazing run for your team, your program, 2 national championships. I mean, what do you think about when you think about your time in Philly?
I mean, it was all credit to Coach Wright. I mean, he got the talented guys around him, but he just put us in a position to succeed, and he challenged us every day, and it just paid off for us.
What was it like on draft night when you and all your former teammates are all getting drafted? 4 guys winning the draft.
Yeah, Mikhail and I, our tables were next to each other. So when I heard his name, I actually popped right up. And I ran over to his table, gave him a hug. And then Coach Wright, it was cool. Coach Wright went from his table and then moved over to mine and waited for my name to get called.
Man, what an experience. Going to chat with Dante here in this bottom of the 3rd. The Brewers are coming up with a 2-0 lead. Ryan Braun will lead off for Milwaukee. Tell us a little bit about what kind of baseball fan you are. Who's your team? Did you play growing up at all?
I watched baseball growing up. I was a big Phillies fan, especially when they won the World Series.
Yeah, I bet you were in on that.
Yeah, I went to the parade and everything like that.
Well, you know they beat the Brewers in the division series that year.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well,
yeah, now you're
just
a
keep that
fan.
quiet.
Now I'm
now
a Brewers fan. Yeah. I got to switch over from Philly to here.
So what do you know about Milwaukee? I mean, what's your preconceived notions about our city?
Well, I know that we lost to Marquette here 2 years ago, and it was not fun, but the fan base here is amazing. And finally, I get to be a part of the fan base, and I get to play for them instead of being against them.
It's been it was amazing watching. You could play a lot of different positions. Where do you fit in? You know, you got Giannis, the big guy, and
I mean, my role is just to come in and fit in. I think that they can put me at different positions, just give me a role to be on the court, and whatever that job is to do, I just get it done.
Visiting with Dante DiVincenzo of the Milwaukee Bucks, first-round draft pick as Braun bounces out. So 17th pick overall, and great numbers last year. It's such a team-oriented game with the Villanova Wildcats going on to win the national championship, and Dante was the MVP of the NCAA championship game in the Final Four, and so you've stacked up this incredible collegiate career. And what would your advice be to young players who are trying to determine when to come out early and whatnot. You stayed, and it paid off for you in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. The biggest thing for me was not worrying about when I was going to leave, just worrying about getting better every day. And then when my opportunity, the opportunity presented itself, I was cautious about how I went about it and tested it out and just got the information. And once I got good information, I just made the move.
Where was the flip for you think, as Yelich grounds to second? So you're going through this process, and what tipped you over the edge that I'm going to go pro now?
I think when I went to the combine, I performed well, I tested well, and then that week I had about 4 or 5 workouts in a week. And it was a grind, but I got all positive feedback that I was going to be a first-round pick. So once I got that feedback, I kind of just kept my name in and then just continued to climb the ladder, and thankfully Milwaukee picked me up.
What about Mike Budenholzer? What do you know about him? What have the conversations been like at this point?
We actually talked when I came here for, I met with the front office, I met with Coach, and we talked for like 20, 30 minutes about just the rookie transition and just how to fit in and just my work ethic at Villanova and how it would translate to the Bucks. And he took a chance on me, and I'm thankful.
Yeah. So what's the process now? You know, summertime, when do you guys gear up? What do you do in the meantime?
Yeah, we're getting ready. Actually, we're getting ready now for Summer League. And then I think
Aguilar sends one to center field. Got a chance, and it's gone! Jesus Aguilar! Wow. Solo bomb to center field, and the Brewers lead it 3-0.
See? Philly the Brewers. I'm going to be a Brewers
fan now.
Right?
You're all in. You've seen your first homer now.
Welcome, my friend.
What a shot that was. As Jesus Aguilar drives another one out of here. His 17th home run of the season. And down the gauntlet he goes.
You guys going to incorporate the gauntlet, maybe a big three-pointer at the end of the half?
I don't know.
You're not in a position.
He's a rookie,
to really,
man.
I'm not in a position to say anything.
Yeah, right.
And a little swag.
Yeah.
There's a shot to center field by Brad Miller. So it's all going well here as we have Dante DiVincenzo joining us. So yeah, you get ready for the upcoming season, and for a rookie, there is just so much to learn, absorb. What's interesting, I was with Mike Budenholzer all those years with the Spurs when he handled the rookies, right? So the information he's giving you is, I'm guessing, extremely valuable because he's got that championship pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He just knows I want to develop, and he wants to develop me. So I think we have that mutual understanding that I just going to want to come in and work and just develop and just to see what I can become.
What's it going to be like throwing an 11-foot lob to Giannis? I mean, you never really put a pass up there.
No, I have never done that, but I'm really looking forward to it.
And you too, by the way. This guy can really jump.
Is it a help to you that you have a new coach? You're a rookie coming in with a new coach, or is it that's kind of an interesting thing.
No, it kind of makes it easier, that transition easier, because I mean, I'm behind in a way. Behind in a way, but also I'm starting on the same playing field as other guys coming in because they haven't been working with Coach either. It kind of helps that transition.
Who are some of your mentors, Dante? Like, who do you call? Who do you talk to prepare you for the pro game? Because there are a lot of Villanova Wildcats in the NBA right now. Jalen Brunson, certainly on his way with you. But what are some of the conversations you're having with guys who have been there?
Kyle Lowry and Josh Hart have really, I've talked to them probably a lot throughout this process.
Perez into center field, and that'll be played in the inning.
So I've talked to Josh Hart and Kyle Lowry a lot through the process of just trying to just pick their brains about. Josh is more recent. He just went through his rookie year. And Kyle's been in the league for 10+ years. So he's kind of given me the long-term thing, and Josh giving me the short-term.
Great. Nova Nation, man.
Thank
Alive
you
and well.
much. Thank you.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Dante DiVincenzo. Can't wait to watch him play with the Bucks in the new arena. It's going to be a lot of fun this year in Milwaukee.
photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Brewers off to a great start tonight. They add one on in the third on a 2-out homer by Jesus Aguilar. Performing at an all-star level is Aguilar. And he just keeps on hitting, doesn't he? Made a great play defensively in the top of the third inning, and then comes back in the bottom half with a blast to center field, his 17th homer of the year. Our thanks to Dante DiVincenzo. Great to have him in the booth with us. And the Bucks are excited to get him in the program. It takes a while for rookies. I mean, it's hard to make an impact right away, but he is a hard-working guy. I remember Jay Wright always praised DiVincenzo and loved his work ethic. That'll serve him well. He's got great athleticism too. So I'm sure the Bucks are happy that they were able to pick him up with the 17th pick.
Yeah, bring that championship mentality, you know, to the Bucks, right?
That matters, no question. 0-2 to Moustakas. What are you seeing in Freddie Peralta tonight here, partner?
I like the curveball tonight. He's been mixing it in. He started in the first inning and really started to get into the heads of these Royals hitters. I think it surprised him early. And now maybe go back second time through the batting order. Maybe go back, you know, predominantly fastball. You know, get the curveball in the back of their mind. And we'll see what he and Manny Pena have in mind. It's always a bonus when you can get that off-speed pitch in the hitter's head. It makes the fastball even more effective.
No balls, 2 strikes. In the air to center field, hit pretty well. Yelich is there. Makes the catch.
Hey, go sleeveless in style this summer by picking up a one-of-a-kind Brewers tank top given to the first 20,000 fans at Miller Park for the Brewers Tuesday, July 3rd showdown with the Minnesota Twins. That's courtesy of Pick and Save. Book your seats today by going to brewers.com/tickets.
One away for Peralta. Here is Salvador Perez.
He's throwing it for strikes too. First pitch strike on a curveball.
Quickly 0-2 on the Royals catcher.
That right hand of Manny Pena is taking a beating today.
Yeah, he injured it sliding back to first.
He's got hit with a foul tip.
Wants a high fastball here. Pena quick with that sign. 0-2 is upstairs and Perez fouls it back.
Perfect.
Manny was on base in the second inning. And just what looked like a routine dive, but he got his finger caught underneath the bag. His ring finger on his right hand. He's a catcher. He'll tough it out. Perez and Pena were teammates with the Royals. Both were injured the same year, as a matter of fact. And once Salvador Perez made his arrival in Kansas City and established himself, there was no looking back. He not only was the everyday catcher and a star, but a perennial all-star and Gold Glove Award winner.
Yeah.
He's made the All-Star team the last 5 years. He's won 4 Gold Glove Awards, and then 2 years ago won the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove Award. He's one of the game's best. But Peralta strikes him out for the second out. And strikeout number 5 for Freddie Peralta.
Yeah, Pena wanted the high fastball, and look where Freddie put it, exactly where Pena called for it, up in the zone. And after a few curveballs to get ahead, Perez, in the back of his mind, thinking about that pitch, can't get to the fastball.
2 up, 2 down. Lucas Duda now. Duda is just coming back from the disabled list. The former Met. been on the disabled list since May 14th. Had a foot injury, his right foot. Way out in front of the curve. That's a pitch that struck him out in the second inning. He might just try another one here with Duda at the plate. Pena wants a high fastball, gets the high fastball and ate him up. Peralta pitching well once again. Freddie fastball's got it going at Miller Park in his home debut.
At Miller Park, more than 100 participants headed to the Whistling Straits Golf Course in Kohler, Wisconsin yesterday for the 10th annual Davey Nelson Celebrity Golf Tournament. The tournament's field featured several current and former Brewers, including Josh Hader, Corey Knebel, and Robin Yount. The proceeds from the event will be sent to Open Arms Home, a nonprofit supporting children in South Africa. And Brewers owner Mark Ignacio and his wife Debbie are matching the total donation. So a lot of money raised and a great day had yesterday in honor of our good friend Davey Nelson.
Yes, thank you, Sophia. Appreciate that report. Looked like a great day and fantastic venue and always a hit. And how about Mark and Debbie matching the money raised? It's going to be a big check they're going to be sending to the Open Arms Foundation. Davey's legacy.
And made a commitment to keep the Open Arms Home alive and well, thriving. Keep it going. All the good work that Davey's been able to do with that.
Brewers have a 3-0 lead here as we play in the bottom of the fourth. All the runs coming on 2 swings of the bat. And there's a ground ball, slow roller, going to be a tough play. And a throw to first is in time. Man, what a play that was. Adalberto Mondesi.
Yeah.
As good as you can do it with a fast runner going down the line.
Well, he can run, but that's only half of it to get there. And you know, that off-balance throw going away from first base, able to get enough on it. I didn't think there's any way they're going to be able to get VR of all people.
Man.
Now check this out. Look at that throw. I mean, sidearm, able to get him by an eyelash, but that's a terrific play. We've been talking about how good the defense has been this year for Kansas City, and hey, it's a good example of it.
Well, they feel like Mondesi is their shortstop of the future. As long as Escobar is here, though, he'll bounce around a little bit, play some second base. What an arm. From that angle, that off balance. That had a line on it.
And right on the money, too. I mean, not off an inch. There's a lot to like about that play.
There just aren't many second basemen with that kind of arm in the first place.
Right.
Shortstop's arm. 2-0 to Manny Pena. There's got to be a little something extra for Pena to play against the Royals. Still has fond memories. They were the team that signed him and brought him to the big leagues. He was 24 when he made it to the big leagues. But think about this. He got hurt in 2012, right? And had a couple of seasons in the major leagues on a backup basis. And then did not appear in a major league game again for 4 years. He went through the recovery and then bounced between organizations, went from the Royals to the Tigers, the Mariners, and then ended up, actually came from the Tigers to the Brewers. He was part of that Francisco Rodriguez deal the year he came from Detroit to Milwaukee. Here's Escobar now. He'll show his hand. And Pena is retired. 2 gone in the 4th.
Well, you stick with it until you feel as though you can't make it or can't, compete at the major league level. And a lot of guys just won't accept that. And Manny Pena just kept fighting and clawing and working and getting better. And he has turned into a pretty good starting catcher here in Milwaukee.
It was actually Texas that signed Pena and then traded him as a minor leaguer to the Royals. But the Royals feel like they developed him to the point where he got a chance in the big leagues. You never forget the team that brought you to the big leagues. Peralta rolls over to first base, and that's a quick inning for Junis. 3 up and 3 down. The Brewers go in order, and we head to the 5th. 3-0 Milwaukee. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world. Couple of home runs tonight for the Brew Crew. Opposite field smash by Yelich. Aguilar's homered as well. 3-0 Milwaukee behind the pitching of Freddie Peralta. And Freddie's actually used the breaking ball a little bit more here tonight.
Yeah, a lot more than we've seen him in the past. So the curveball has been a good pitch for him. He's throwing it for strikes. He's keeping hitters off this pitch here, that fastball that he's trying to ride up in the strike zone, getting Salvador Perez right there. So that curveball, high fastball combination has been a very good one. There's another curveball. He's throwing a few change-ups, so he's mixing it up a lot more than he had in the past.
A 13 strikeout game in his major league debut in Colorado. It was 90% fastballs. And it was up there in the high 80 percentile for fastballs against the Pirates his last time out. So that's good pitching, good game planning by his catcher Manny Pena and his pitching coach Derek Johnson.
Yeah, just threw a changeup.
No balls and 2 strikes on Alex Gordon. And did he go? He did, and Pena will put the tag on Gordon. It's another strikeout. He went back to the curve.
Yeah, so fastball, changeup, curveball. Actually, curveball, changeup, curveball. Another really well located curveball with 2 strikes. There's no need to throw it for a strike. Another check swing.
Pitching coach Derek Johnson got to be pleased what he's seeing out of Freddie Peralta. This is a huge lift, not just to the organization to have Peralta arrive in the big leagues and have this kind of success, but with the injuries to the starting rotation, 3/5 of the rotation is on the disabled list, and the 3 that have filled in have all exceeded expectations. Right now, those that have filled in are Guerra, Suter, and now Peralta in the 5th spot in that rotation.
Yep, and it's going to be difficult to take 2 of them out anyway, Suter and Guerra. And no matter what happens with the other guys. Guys on the road to recovery, Wade Miley, you got Zach Davies. Jimmy Nelson is still a ways away.
2 balls and a strike on Escobar. 1 away in the Royals' 5th. There's a strike. It goes to 2-2. Zach Davies. He's got 1, maybe 2 more minor league rehab starts. He's trying to fight through a shoulder inflammation. Hoping he is past that at this point. He says he felt good after his 2nd outing over the weekend in Colorado Springs, or in Iowa actually. There's a swing and a miss, and Escobar chases the curve. Back-to-back Ks. Peralta has 7 right now.
Yep, and that's exactly where you want it. I mean, he hasn't made a mistake with the curveball with 2 strikes. He did hang one, though, to Mondesi. He hung a curveball, and he was able to get that double down the right field line. But other than that, curveball has been a very good swing and miss pitch for him.
7 punch outs. Peralta has retired 8 consecutive. And here is Adalberto Mondesi, who doubled in the 3rd. That's the last hit for the Royals. Last and only hit for the Royals, mind you. There have only been 3 base runners. Gordon walked, Mondesi doubled, and then the pitcher Junis reached on the fielder's choice. One ball, 1 strike. Right by him with a fastball. 1-2 the count. There's just enough of a wrinkle on that fastball. Hitters have trouble with it. How about another one right down the middle? And Freddie Peralta is right back at it, much to the delight of Team Peralta in the stands from the Dominican. 3 consecutive Ks for Peralta. He's got 8 through 5 innings, and he's working on a 1-hit shutout.
2-game series here against Kansas City here in the 5th. And checking out our UW Whitewater minor league scouting report for Jake Gatewood last night, a season high, tying 4 hits for him last night at Chattanooga. He scored 2 runs, had a home run as well, his 14th of the season. And on the season for him, it's been a .246 average with 16 doubles, and 8 of those 14 home runs have come over his last 26 games. So Gatewood really heating up in AA for Biloxi. And here in Milwaukee, the Brewers are starting a stretch of 21 games in 20 days, including that doubleheader in Pittsburgh just before the All-Star break. And Craig Counsell says it's one of those stretches in the season that it's their turn to take. He said every team goes through a stretch like this at some point in the season. So he said what gives you kind of the optimistic is just how consistent that his starting rotation has performed. They know they're going to need to rely on that consistency heading into a stretch like this. And he said, you know, their performance, the innings that they've provided, they're going to need that as they get into this heavy stretch before the All-Star break. And of course, managing that bullpen.
All right, Sophia, thank you. As Thames greets Junis with a base hit to left. And it is a leadoff single for the Brewers' leadoff man.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to be important, obviously, to have you know, good starts. You know, you get 6 innings out of your starters minimum in this stretch because your bullpen is going to be taxed. But look for the Brewers to be very active in you know, the minor leagues and the big leagues. That transition going back and forth with some of their long relievers, you know, to keep fresh arms out in that bullpen. And it's not just the pitching. You're going to have to keep your position players strong up until the All-Star break. Everybody's going to have to contribute, and it doesn't help that a couple of your guys are hurt.
Ryan Braun, first ball swinging, high drive to right center, and it is gone! Braun with a 2-run shot. 5-0 Milwaukee. 3rd home run of the game for the Brewers.
And the home run problems continue for Junis. 22 he's allowed now. And the Brewers are flexing their muscles tonight.
First home run for Braun since June 8th, when he hit 2 home runs in Philadelphia. And a trip down the gauntlet for Ryan Braun, who is enjoying this number 2 spot in the batting order tonight. He's got a double and a 2-run home run.
And 6 hits for the Brewers, 3 of them homers. And breaking pitch, slider that did not break a whole lot, and he drives it out of here to right center.
And did something we haven't seen Braun do in a while. Remember, all we would talk about Braun and that little exhale he had when he knew he got one, and he knew he got that, and
pick up the jersey.
He had a look at the Brewers dugout and then circled the bases. There's a shot by Yelich back up the middle of base hit. Yelich is 2 for 3 tonight.
This is a pitch that you would expect a power hitter to try and pull. Look at the balance. Look at the follow through. And Ryan knew it was gone. You could tell the way he trickled out of the batter's box.
That ball had some carry. That's a 400-foot blast right there. Yeah. Go stand next to the manager when you hit a home run like that.
Yeah, manager first, then hitting coach.
That's right. That's the order. Aguilar takes a strike. It's an interesting dynamic with Braun and Counsell. They were teammates, and it's a different relationship. There's a lot more to it than manager-player, of course. A long history between the two.
Craig Counsell does not look like a manager that has a 5-0 lead. I mean, the wheels are always turning for counts. How can he make his team better even in this situation?
Lorenzo Cain goes on the disabled list. 10-day DL prior to the game, it was announced. To be able to replace a Lorenzo Cain in center field with Christian Yelich. What a luxury this manager has. Brewers have put together a very deep roster. There's a wave and a miss. Aguilar strikes out. That's the 5th strikeout for Junis. Beg your pardon, the 6th strikeout, but the first since the 2nd inning.
That man has had a rough go of it. He's in the middle of a 5-game losing streak. He's given up 10 home runs in his last 4 starts.
He grew up here in the upper Midwest, not too far from Milwaukee, just a few hours. Rock Falls, Illinois, which is between Rockford and Davenport, Iowa. It's on the western side of Illinois towards Iowa. There goes Yelich, and the throw is not in time. Stolen base for Yelich, and the Brewers keep the pressure on in this 5th inning.
And good throw by Perez, but just had a very good jump right on the money. Yelich able to get in there. Brewers have had an amazing amount of success in stolen bases, 12 straight.
And for Yelich, that is his 10th steal of the year. He's only been caught once. The Brewers own an 82% success rate stealing bases. That is the best success rate in the National League. 59 steals this year. And only caught 13 times to get to that 82%. Brad Miller with 1 away. Runner at second base. And a spinner in there for a strike.
That one old school, no batting gloves. Good weather for it. No batting gloves.
Pant legs up to the knees, showing the socks off.
I always felt like batting gloves made the bat seem lighter in your hand.
Yeah.
Always felt like that. Yeah.
Now, were you a no batting glove guy ever, or did you always have at least one on?
In high school, I mean, didn't know what batting gloves were back then. You know, playing in New Jersey in March, I mean, you're actually using winter gloves.
In the snow. Miller draws the walk. Uphill.
Started the batting gloves in college. You know, the old Saranacs.
Oh, I love the Saranacs.
You know, you had the
yeah, the Velcro all the way around.
Velcro strap. Tighten it so tight that
I like that.
Cut off your circulation.
Made your forearms look bigger.
Yeah.
You know, our buddy Ed Alf there with Spiders, they make a mean batting glove.
Yes, they do. They're terrific.
I got my eye on a few. My batting days are over, but I really like the gloves a lot, so I'm thinking about putting them in play. Not quite sure exactly what I would use them for.
Maybe driving gloves?
Yeah, you know, that's a good idea.
You know?
Yeah.
You don't want to get blisters when you're driving.
That's a good point. With my heated steering wheel.
Right.
Excellent point. Find a reason. Fantasy camp.
They're also good to wear, you know, when it's cold out here up in the booth, you know, on the road. I carry a pair, the Spiders gloves.
Spiders is the company, not they're not made for spiders, although you could probably catch a few spiders in those gloves. Perez with a swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. Number 7 for Junis. 2 outs in the inning.
Hey, tonight's time of the game. You know, you're going to like this one, BA.
Right.
I mean, you got to pay attention now.
Let's go.
Get away from your computer. You got to listen.
Did you say something, Rock?
Mixter's Pub and Grill in Clintonville, and we have a connection in Clintonville here. If they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they'll get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Light Beer Pen. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. And Miller, you know who is from Clintonville?
Wait, I don't think you finished the promo.
Yeah, I did.
I do not know who. Tell me who.
Mike Jershely.
Oh, okay.
Kansas City coach.
The third base coach.
He's from Clintonville. I don't know how often he gets back to Clintonville, which is kind of on your way up to Eagle River. Kind of a roundabout way to get up to Eagle River. There he is.
That's good intel, Rock. next level prep for the tavern of the game.
That's courtesy of Rand McNally next to you. Mike Faulkner.
Those are just top of the head and nuggets from Mr. McNally. VR bounces to second base, and that will end the inning. Well, the Brewers add 2 more to the lead. They are adding on tonight. Got a homer in the 3rd from Aguilar. Ryan Braun goes deep, a 2-run blast here in the 5th. 5 in the books. 5-0 Milwaukee. Show from the nation's capital. It's the MLB All-Star Game. It's July 17th, only on Fox, or you can stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Latest release of voting in the National League, and look at Freddie Freeman still leading all vote getters. Terrific Braves first baseman. The Braves are well represented. Braves and Brewers have the best record in the National League. They are tied at this point with 45 wins, 32 losses. But the Braves are garnering a lot of votes.
Got to get out there and get on the computer and start voting. Brewers are deserving. There's some guys that deserve to be there this year.
Abraham Almonte will pinch hit for Junis. That's the end of the line for the Royals starter. 5 innings, 5 runs, all 5 runs coming on 3 home run balls. 2-run homer from Yelich in the 1st, a solo shot from Aguilar in the 3rd, and Braun with a 2-run shot last inning. Junis did walk 3, struck out 7. Two balls and a strike. Freddie Peralta has been dynamite. Just 1 hit allowed. Up and in on Almonte. Only hit was a Mondesi double in the 3rd. Line drive down the right field line. It was a hustle double. Freddie with 8 strikeouts. He just struck out the side in the 5th. 3-1 pitch in there for a strike. Boy, he has
right down the
some
middle.
kind of confidence.
Yeah. Nice and easy delivery. A very repeatable delivery. It's amazing that he does walk as many as he does, or at least in the past.
And a called strike 3. Peralta rings the bell. Strikeout number 9, and 4 in a row for Peralta. 1 away here in the 6th. Gives us a chance to check in with Sophia.
Well, BA and Rock, confidence is definitely the word to use with Freddie Peralta. And speaking to him before this start, his home debut here, he said, I am 100% sure in myself. He feels that even though this is just his 4th start in the big leagues, he said this is starting to feel normal. And he said he feels like he's just pitching like at any other level. He said, I'm just playing baseball. So he's kept the approach really simple. And he said, no, I know the hitters are smarter at this level, but he said, I have to continue to trust myself, continue to try to make pitches. And he said, I know these are better hitters than what I've seen in the minor leagues. So he said, I know I need to make these adjustments, but the confidence is absolutely there. And his father, Pedro, said that's something that has been there with him since he was a little kid.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, in this game of baseball right now, all the young players that are out there. We saw a guy, Jack Flaherty, for the Cardinals, 22 years old. Right. I mean, this guy's, they pitch like they've been around for 5-6 years.
Pop up, shallow center field. VR's back. Yelich is coming in. He's calling, and he's got it for the out.
Yeah, the norm is a guy coming up and just completely overwhelmed by the situation. And these guys have a lot of poise. I mean, at a very young age, it is remarkable. It really is.
And I wouldn't call it arrogance by any stretch. I mean, he's a fun-loving guy, always quick with a smile. You know he's battling nerves, and there's some anxiety there, pitching in the big leagues for the first time in his career. But once he gets on the mound and he believes in his stuff, and he's starting to get the kind of results that have to give you confidence. I mean, he is just abusing major league hitters.
Well, and again, when he's able to throw the curveball like he is tonight, I mean, that'll give you confidence in itself. I mean, if you're out there with one pitch like he was against the Rockies, just throwing fastballs one after another by these guys, I mean, sometimes you get a little bit lucky and you're able to do that. But I mean, he's got 3 pretty good pitches working for him tonight. There it is.
Ball strike is in there
on an 0-1 or 1-0 pitch.
Talk about his changeup a little bit, because it's not a traditional changeup.
It's kind of a BP fastball kind of thing. I mean, you know, it's 988 to 90 miles an hour. Sometimes you see, you know, that's a 4-seam fastball right there, only 91. So it's not the big velocity that's getting him by. It's, you know, hiding the baseball. We talk a lot about that with Brett Suter.
Peralta has given up just the 1 hit. He has retired 11 in a row now since that double back in the 3rd. 1 hit and 1 walk. Facing Rosell Herrera, and he fouls it back out of play. 3-2 the count. Pitch count in good shape. His spot is due up 2nd, and I would imagine Counsell would hit for him. Well, we'll see. He's got a shutout going. The Brewers are in the stretch, as Sophia mentioned, of more games than days over the next 20 days. On the ground to second base, and Peralta keeps on rolling here today. A 1-hit shutout. He puts the Royals down in order in the 6th inning. great taste and only 96 calories. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Good crowd on a Tuesday night. The Brewers leading the Kansas City Royals 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Festive crowd here tonight. Was Little League night at the ballpark, so had a parade of thousands and thousands of Little Leaguers and coaches on the field before the game, walking around the warning track. Next pitcher rock is Brian Flynn. He'll be the first reliever used for Ned Yost.
Yeah, 2 lefties down there. You know, Flynn it's been a while since he's been out on the mound. June 18th. Yeah, pitched against the Rangers. This is a guy that will give Ned Yost multiple innings. He's done it 10 times this year.
Peralta able to get out of that last inning quickly, so just 89 pitches through 6 innings, and he is in fact on deck, and the bullpen is empty. So Counsell will let it ride with his 22-year-old starter, who is hitting the major league scene by storm. This is just his 4th start and is putting together his best one yet. And he's got a pretty big standard to set. As Lorenzo Cain, the former Royal, goes on the disabled list today. That was a bit of a blow for the Brewers. Getting a big lift from one of their young prospects in Freddie Peralta.
And you got 2 of their best hitters out of the lineup, and the Brewers able to sit here in the 6th inning with a 5-0 lead. Shaw, Cain out. No telling how long Shaw is going to be out.
One ball, 2 strikes. Manny Pena is 0 for 1 with a walk.
Got to give Manny a lot of credit for what he's been able to do with Freddie Peralta. Did a nice job keeping him focused, calling a good game, keeping him relaxed.
Such an important part of the game that you don't hear enough talk about as Pena strikes out. And 1 away in the 6th. And here comes Freddie Peralta. He'll get a nice hand on his way up. I want to say hello to one of our good friends here. He is the assistant to the general manager of the Kansas City Royals, Gene Watson. And we're thinking about Gene today. He and his wife, Melanie, had some great news today on a cancer report, and we're happy about that. Thankful for that. Gene's always one of our favorite guys to talk to, and we wish him the best. I know he's watching tonight.
Yeah.
Chopper over to third base, and there is out number 2 as Moustakas makes a play.
Hey, take the action with you wherever you go with MLB.TV Premium, accessible on over 400 different devices. MLB.TV Premium offers HD streams of all out-of-market games. Plus, you get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium when you sign up. I want to also give a shout out to Carrie Brewer in Prairie du Chien. You know, she's got a birthday tomorrow. Big Brewers fan, watches every night. 108 years old.
Not just a birthday, right?
Wow, 108.
108.
Good for you, Carrie. Keep watching.
That's something, isn't it?
It is. Good for her. I'd like to know what her secret is.
I mean, she says she's been a Brewers fan for half of her life. I mean, that's the whole entirety of the organization here.
Right. So when you show up at the ballpark and you're feeling a little bit like you're tired, you know, you feel like you're getting old.
Here's Thames into right center, and that's going to bounce off the base of the wall. Thames on his way to second base with a double. A 2-out double. Second hit of the game for Thames.
So you show up a little weary, think of Carey.
Underneath.
Yeah. That doubles for you, Carey. A double in the right center for Eric Thames. Lefty versus lefty. Boy, he likes that. And so does Craig Counsell. A double off the left-hander.
Two for 4 today for Thames. Ryan Braun at the plate tonight, presented by Wendy's. Couple of hits. He doubled on the first pitch he saw in the first inning, and then a 2-run home run in the 5th. He hit a rocket out to right center, 400-foot blast. Braun hitting second for the first time tonight. This might be the way the order shakes out here for a little bit, with Kane on the DL. Kane's been the one to hit third without Braun in the lineup. I think if everybody's healthy, Braun probably hits 5th, right? Is that how you see it? I mean, that's kind of where it was trending.
Right.
Kane leads off, Yelich, then Aguilar, then Shaw, then Braun. Left, right, left, right.
That's not a bad lineup. That's not a bad top of your order.
I'm telling you what, getting them all in the lineup together has been the challenge for Counsell.
But the Brewers are not alone in that. Cubs just put Chris Bryant on the disabled list.
That's right. Bryant with a shoulder injury. Milwaukee 2.5 up on the Chicago Cubs starting play today. Cubs got swept in Cincinnati. Brewers are headed to Cincinnati after tomorrow afternoon's game. Reds have won, or had won, 7 in a row before they lost yesterday. Cubs have lost 5 straight. Three-two to Braun. 2 outs in the inning. Down and in. Ball 4. Braun draws the walk, on base for the 3rd time, and that will bring up Christian Yelich. Yelich keeps on homering, especially here at Miller Park. 7 of his 11 have come here at Miller Park, and he's on the home run leaderboard. He's 3rd on the club Powerball home run board. Aguilar hit number 17 back in the 3rd. Brewers had 3 30 home run performers last year, and they're certainly on that track this season. As it warms up in the summertime here in Miller Park, the ball does fly.
Yes, sir. Seems like it's carrying pretty well tonight. Brewers with 98 home runs, including the 3 tonight. New York Yankees lead all of baseball, 125 homers.
Yeah, they're going to shatter the record. Extremely home run hitter friendly Yankee Stadium, and extremely capable home run hitters.
Yeah. There's 7 teams in the American League with over 100 homers.
Is that right?
Yeah.
7.
There's 1 in the National League.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cardinals are the most prolific home run hitting team in the NL. But the Brewers will be there, you figure, when it's all said and done as a team. It's a roster built around power, but they've added a lot of speed to the mix too. Yelich has a home run and a stolen base. I beg your pardon, the Dodgers are the National League leaders in homers. 104. Then the Cardinals. Cardinals are underway at home tonight against Cleveland. Good start for the Indians in that one. 2-0 first inning with Kluber on the mound against St. Louis. Dodgers beat the Cubs yesterday. And their game tonight underway shortly. And some weather down there in Chicago. We've had weather here too, but you know what?
We'll never know it.
There's a roof. Full count, 2 outs, first and second for the Brewers. There they go, and Yelich fouls it away.
The only thing we have to worry about with the weather is whether we have our windows up in our cars.
Yeah, that 90-second walk can be a bear, can it?
Yeah. Got it rough.
Oh, God bless the roof. Runners go. Yelich hits it hard, but right at Mondesi. Bobbles, recovers, and still able to throw him out. What an arm he has, just like his old man. Inning is over. The Freddie Peralta show continues. Got a one-hit shutout through 6.
Inning did not take Mookie Betts long to get going. 1 for 3, including this home run in the first inning to right center field off of John Lamb, and that ball went out of the yard, and so did right fielder Michael Hermosillo. Went over the fence at Fenway, but no harm done. The Red Sox currently have a 9-1 lead in the ninth.
Red Sox are rolling, right, Sophia? What a team. Red Sox and Yankees. That is going to be some kind of pennant race for the AL East, each with 52 wins. Boston's played 2 more games than the Yankees. Lead man up here in the 7th inning for the Royals, Mike Moustakas. His name is out there heavily on the trade circuit right now. .14 home runs, 48 ribbies for Moustakas. He's one of the first players, at least one of the more notable players, that tried to change his swing to beat the shift. Teams were shifting heavily on him, and then he tried to develop a little bit of an inside-out swing to go the other way, but the shift remains for the Brewers against Moustakas.
Man, I think organizations, teams that play the Royals would be just fine having him go up there trying to hit singles into left field.
There's a strike. Do you think there's ever a wave that will come, a correction for the shift? Or do you think baseball should legislate, let's say, an illegal defense or some kind of you know, 2 infielders on each side. Because I think it's here to stay, right? I mean, I don't see hitters other than Moustakas is the only guy I can think of that actually tried to go the other way and defy the shift regularly.
Do you think baseball would even consider legislating that? I mean, I know there's been some talk about it, but
I think it's on the table. I don't know if it'll go that far, but I'm with you. It doesn't bother me. Pop up to Miller. And there is out number 1. Freddie Peralta has retired 13 straight now, and Rocky is just making it look easy.
Yeah, and again, he's throwing strikes. He's only walked 1. That was back with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. That's the key for him. Throwing strikes, getting ahead, and what he's been able to do tonight is throw the curveball for strikes early in the count.
What a line. A 1-hitter. A double to lead off the 3rd. That has been it. He has hardly pitched from the stretch tonight. Faced 1 batter in the stretch in the 2nd inning. And then faced 3 batters from the stretch in the 3rd. That's been it. He's been in the windup to every hitter since the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
Look at that curve.
This kid has given up only 7 hits in 4 starts. I mean, honestly, I mean, think about that. 7 hits in 4 starts. That's a heck of a curveball right there.
1 ball, 1 strike. Able to check his swing. Freddie staring down these All-Stars, World Series champions, and making it look simple tonight. Mowing right through the Royals as Perez flies to center field. 2 gone in the inning.
Hey, on Sunday, July 8th, all fans at the Brewers series finale against the Braves will take home a retro Robin Yount 1970s replica jersey courtesy of Orbis Corporation. To book your seats, go to brewers.com/tickets. Good old number 19.
The kid.
That was one of the original jerseys. 1970.
This Brewers franchise began in '69 as the Seattle Pilots and then moved to Milwaukee. Took a right turn in Albuquerque and headed up to Milwaukee.
Weren't sure where they were going, did they?
And we all owe Bud Selig a debt of gratitude for bringing the major league team here. Played at County Stadium up through the 2000 season. Miller Park here opened in 2001. And they are hoping this new regime here in Milwaukee to make it a run of playoff appearances. A swing and a miss, and Peralta keeps it going. 15 in a row. He's retired. How about 10 strikeouts? A 1-hit shutout through 7, and a standing ovation on his way out. And he has put up a gem. The Badger Mutual Insurance plays of the game. Let's call it pitches of the game. And Rocky retires 15 straight, 10 strikeouts. He's given up just 1 hit and 1 walk.
Yeah, that's the key to the 1 walk. I mean, 7 hits allowed in 4 starts in the big leagues. I mean, that's unheard of. Curveball, he broke that out in the first inning, and Manny Pena used that a lot. So you got to credit Manny Pena a lot with the success tonight of Freddie Peralta. Those are incredible numbers for the young right-hander. 7 innings, 1 hit, 10 punch-outs.
Most pitches he's thrown in the big leagues in his 4th start. Only threw more than that once in AAA, pitching against Nashville, and so that's probably the end. And you look at the Brewers bullpen, Dan Jennings getting loose, and that would tell you the 7 innings is it for Freddie Peralta.
I think 7 innings for the next 20 days would be nice out of your starter.
Most innings he's thrown in the big leagues. 2nd most strikeouts, believe it or not. Remember, he struck out 13 in his debut. And he's had back-to-back starts now with no runs. Last time he gave up a run was that 4-run game against the Twins. So 3 of his 4 starts, no runs allowed for Freddie Peralta. And that one's fair, just inside the bag. Down into the corner it goes. Aguilar on his way to second base with a double.
I think the fans thought he might try for the triple, but Freddie's saying, no, I don't think so.
I think his teammates were on him too. He said, that's way over there at third base. Way too far.
Yep. Shoots that one just inside the first baseline. Just a terrific approach for Jesus Aguilar. Once again, 2 strikes. His home run that he hit tonight was on an 0-1 pitch. So, you know, hitting behind an account really doesn't seem to bother him too much.
Picking him up and putting him down. Jesus Aguilar. Here's Miller. Takes a strike. Miller's had a nice day. First start at shortstop. He's been on 3 times, 2 walks. He has a single. I do not remember a ground ball to Miller in this game.
No,
I could be wrong.
He caught a pop-up. That was it.
That's it, right? Peralta mostly strikeouts and fly ball outs. And he's a fly ball pitcher. That's one of the reasons Council has Miller at shortstop tonight. There's a ground ball to second. That'll advance Aguilar.
Hey, the Brewers and Twins are at Miller Park for a 3-game series next Monday through Wednesday. Check out the complete schedule. That includes big gate giveaways on Monday and Tuesday and dollar hot dogs on Independence Day. That's Wednesday. Check it out at brewers.com.
Hernan Perez to face Brian Flynn. Infield is in. Brewers lead 5-0 on 9 hits compared to the Royals 1. A long year for Ned Yost. It's an incredible survival year for Ned Yost as well. If you don't know the story, he was setting up a deer blind this offseason. He fell out of the tree. The actual the flooring of the blind collapsed, and as he was setting it up to use for the hunting season, and he did not have the tether on. He fell, and there's a shot to short caught by Escobar as Perez lines out. And if not for a cell phone, his wife understanding the terrain, because there's really no map to help Life Flight get out there, but he was literally minutes away from dying.
Yeah, thought he was.
Fractured his hip. There was a lot of severed arteries in his leg. He showed me the x-rays of the fracture. I mean, it's amazing that he can still walk.
He was in a wheelchair pretty much all winter. Very fortunate.
And he said the cell service, the fact that he had it in his pocket, the fact that it didn't break on the fall, and he was actually able to use it. He only gets cell service in about 15% of his ranch, and he had it on this particular spot. VR grounds to short, and that will retire the side. The Brewers come up empty, get a double from Aguilar. 5-0. The Brewers lead Ned Yost Royals as we go to the 8th inning. Live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. Roof is closed on a rainy night. All good for the Brewers thus far. Freddie Peralta went 7 shutout innings, only 1 hit. He struck out 10. And his night is over. It'll be Dan Jennings out of the bullpen.
And you see his numbers, 37 appearances and a .344 earned run average for Jennings. 2 left-handers down there. Ned Yost, that bullpen. Josh Hader, the other. Last time we saw Jennings was back on Sunday against the Cardinals. Inning in 2/3 scoreless. He had a couple of strikeouts.
Orlando Arcia will take over at the shortstop position. Might try to get multiple innings out of Dan Jennings. We'll see. The double switch gives Counsell the option. 8th inning. And the Royals will have Alex Gordon, Alcides Escobar, and Alberto Mondesi coming up. 6, 7, and 8 in their lineup. Gordon tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. One of the 10 Ks for Freddie Peralta. Peralta knows he'll have a spot every 5th day for the short term, pitching like this, and the Brewers without an off day. See Peralta once again in Cincinnati. There's a wave and a miss. Good breaking ball from Jennings.
Yeah, that's the pitch for Jennings. He needs to be able to put it right there. You know, down and away. There are times when he leaves it down the middle of the plate. Didn't do that early in the year. First month, he was basically unhittable, probably first 6 weeks.
One ball, 2 strikes. Count stays at 1-2. Brewers will have Brent Suter up tomorrow against Danny Duffy. Matchup of left-handers. Day game here at Miller Park. And then a 4-game series in Cincinnati. 4 on the road, right back here to Milwaukee for Monday. Turning the calendar from June to July. Where'd that go? Miller Lite, what's on tap? Our next Fox Sports Wisconsin telecast will be from Cincinnati. Anthony DeSclafani against Junior Guerra.
Cincinnati playing decent baseball right now. Look out.
High drive into center field. Yelich on the run. Yelich at the track, and he's got it for the out. What a catch. Christian Yelich, smooth as silk, running it down. Out number 1 here in the 8th inning.
They're saying that's easy to get to this wall. You know, the place I was playing before this, that's a full out sprint to center field fence. You had this one measured all the way, no problem.
Oh, what a catch. Trending towards Willie Mays. Not Willie Mays, trending that way. Lorenzo Cain says, attaboy.
I think Willie would have loved to have been able to wear one of the gloves these guys have.
Yeah. And that catch he had at the Polo Grounds was how far from home plate? 450 or something like that? 440?
Yep. And with a glove about maybe 2 inches bigger than his fingers.
Say who? 0-1 to Escobar is fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes on the Royal shortstop, the former Brewer Escobar. Got 2 shortstops on the field right now, and Escobar and Arcia carrying along that very rich tradition of Venezuelan shortstops. That is the prime position. Every baseball player growing up in Venezuela, including Jesus Aguilar, wants to be a shortstop. That's why we always say Aguilar is a shortstop in an offensive lineman's body, because that is the position of choice for all the best players coming up in Venezuela. There have been some great ones. Omar Vizquel, of course, Ozzie Guillen, Louis Aparicio. Take it with pride. Try to carry that tradition on. Escobar wears number 2 because of Derek Jeter. Arcia in that number 3. Fly ball to center field. 2 outs. Much easier try for Yelich this time around.
Yeah, good pitch by Jennings, got in on his hands. All important innings for these relievers.
Here is Mondesi.
Not been for that double down the line and right, this the end of this game would have a much different feel, would it not?
Yeah, that's right. Never know what would happen after that, but Mondesi with the leadoff double. That's it. That's the only hit of the game for the Royals.
Right.
And there was a beautiful display of defense in that inning to help get Peralta through that 3rd inning. Aguilar on a bunt play with a bare hand pickup, snap throw to third base to get Mondesi, trying to advance. That cleaned up the inning, and Peralta would go on to retire 15 straight to end his night. What a game.
Yeah.
About as good as you could do it for a team here tonight. Home run balls, good defense, great pitching. Home runs from Yelich, Aguilar, and Braun. in front of over 34,000 at Miller Park tonight. Fly ball right center, hit well. And this one is going to fly out of here. Mondesi with the Royals only 2 hits. Opposite field home run. Shutout is lost. And Mondesi with his first home run makes it 5-1 Brew Crew.
Yeah, fastball, middle in, and actually middle away, and knocks it out of here to the opposite field. Pretty good swing he put on that baseball, and flies it out of here to right center.
His 4th career major league homer. Here's Hunter Dozier now pinch hitting. Mondesi hit 5 home runs earlier this season in AAA. Played 29 games in AAA. Now in his 8th game here in the big leagues and his first home run of the season.
Pretty good looking player, is he not?
He's got some star power.
Pretty good defensive skills. Great arm.
Yeah, I'm with you. Royals emptied out their minor league system, chasing those pennants and the World Series title. They tell you they do it all over again.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't? Back-to-back World Series appearances, won a World Championship. Yep, that's what it's all about.
Mondesi played in that World Series win, that winning World Series year in 2015. They brought him up as a 19-year-old to be an extra man, defensive replacement, pinch runner, whatnot. Did get an at-bat in the World Series at 19. And Dozier draws the walk. Jennings has had trouble here lately with 2 outs.
Yeah, hitting the count 1 and 2. Couldn't put him away. I'll tell you what, big fly here, it gets interesting.
No question, it's 5-1.
I mean, this game's not over yet.
Got a good hitter coming up in Whit Merrifield. Jennings, the last 3 times out is, or 3 of the last 4 times out, has had trouble getting that last out. Getting the first 2 outs quickly and then running into some trouble. That was the case in Pittsburgh. And then again against the Cardinals. It's the last guy you wanted to face in a spot like this, though. Whit Merrifield. He's their best hitter and keep the line moving. Suddenly the Royals can get right back in it. Let's see if Jennings can put the blanket on it here as he misses outside.
And then Craig Counsell forced to get Josh Hader throwing in that bullpen. Last thing he wanted to do tonight with a 5-0 lead in the 8th.
Two fly ball outs to center. One a great catch by Yelich on Gordon. And now a home run and a walk. 2-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Two now. Whit Merrifield. Herrera due next. There's a lot of teams that are checking in on Whit Merrifield, I am sure. Let's talk about adding to a roster a guy that can play that many positions well. He's a plus defender everywhere, wherever he goes. And he can really hit. Hitting .280 for a batting average. His on-base percentage is .357. Great base stealer. Two the count. Jennings trying to get out of this 8th. And a high fly ball deep center. And Yelich is there for the out to end the inning. So Jennings gives up a run. First run of the game. We head to the bottom of the 8th. It's 5-1 Brewers.
Freddie Peralta shutting down the Kansas City Royals. The Brewers a 5-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Craig Kashan on board, getting you set for Brewers Live coming up after the ball game. Of course, we'll hear from Craig Counts. We'll get some post-game reaction sound with Sophia Minard as well. And what a performance so far on this young career of Freddie Peralta. We'll go over some really impressive numbers, how they relate to baseball history alone for the 22-year-old. Dazzling again. We've got Brewers Live postgame coming up, presented by Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin. Moments away, BA.
All right, Craig, thank you. Looking forward to that. Brewers Live coming up as soon as we're done here tonight. Brewers lead 5-1. Birch Smith is on the pitch for Kansas City. Manny Pena will lead off. Arcia to follow. Freddie Peralta with 35 strikeouts through his first 4 appearances. The most by a pitcher beginning his career with the Brewers. So he set a record there. There are more superlatives concerning Peralta that Craig just alluded to.
Yeah, has there ever been a pitcher for the Brewers in his first 4 starts that's only allowed 7 hits? I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, the strikeouts, that's all great, but 7 hits?
He's the first pitcher since at least 1908. As Pena takes a called strike 3. 1 out in the inning. So the first pitcher at least since 1908 to allow 3 or fewer hits and strike out 5 or more batters in each of his first 4 appearances. I'm with you, man.
Yeah,
it's a monster start to a career.
And the Brewers are looking to go 4-0 in his 4 starts.
Arcia takes a ball. Remember after his first outing when he set the record for a Brewers rookie in his first start for strikeouts in a game, had 13. You're thinking, well, I mean, that's a high bar to set for yourself. Only one way to go from here. And he's actually found a path to be better.
Yeah. He's got 9 walks in 4 starts. 6 of them came in one outing against the Twins.
First at bat for Arcia. Right to Escobar. 2 outs in the inning. Now time for the Lowe's whole team together. As Eric Dames comes to the plate with 2 outs. So records for the team when homering. Royals have the worst record when they homer. When the Brewers homer, they have the best record in Major League Baseball, 38-11, trying to make it 39-11 tonight. It's an interesting nugget. The Brewers have great success when they homer and score first.
And when they give up only 2 hits.
That's an outstanding record and only 1 run. Thames has had a good night. 2 hits, he has a single and a run scored. Had a double his last time up, 2 for 4. He missed 41 games. He has 9 homers and 20 RBIs. He's done some damage when he's been in the lineup. Missed about 7 weeks with a thumb injury. Torn ligament in his thumb, trying to make a play defensively. His glove hand had to have surgery. He's come back swinging the bat well.
And just in time, right? Some of these guys getting a little banged up.
I don't like that look. That's the thumb he injured right there, the top hand.
Got the pad on there around the thumb.
On the ground to short. Escobar winds it up and throws him out to end the inning. 1-2-3 inning. We're on our way to the 9th. It's the last call for the Royals. 5-1 Brewers. Been a great night all the way around for the Brewers, playing excellent baseball tonight. Jumping out early, 2-run Yelich homer in the first, Aguilar homered in the third, and then Braun went deep in the 5th inning. And Freddie Peralta was the headliner despite all of that success offensively. 7 shutout innings, 1 hit, 10 Ks for the rookie from the Dominican Republic. It'll be Jacob Barnes to try to finish this one off. It's 5-1. We're in the 9th inning. First of 2 games against the Royals here at Miller Park.
And has not allowed a run over 11 appearances since being recalled from AAA back at the end of May. May 27th, he got called back up. Last pitched on Sunday against the Cardinals. And tossed a scoreless inning. Great numbers. 29th appearance. Earned run average under 2.
Herrera will lead off for the Royals. He is 0 for 3. There's a lot of 0-fers in that Royals lineup tonight. Consider the 2 hits for the Royals tonight, both coming from Adalberto Mondesi, a double and a homer. Everybody else has the donut.
Yep. And nothing really hit all that hard except for Mondesi. A couple of deep fly balls off of Dan Jennings last inning.
Jennings went an inning, gave up a hit and a walk and that home run. And now Barnes trying to make this a quick 9th and get the Brewers out of here and ready for a day game tomorrow. Brewers keep churning along despite injuries. It's been impressive.
Contributions from everybody. Keon Broxton got called up today. He's going to get some playing time. He's waited a long time this year to get called up.
Yeah, good for him. You're happy to hear that. You never want to see a player injured, but Kane's injury opens up an opportunity for Keon Broxton again. He's earned that chance. Swung the bat well in AAA. I know he's frustrated not to be here. It's been great. Fly ball left field line. Braun will watch this bounce up and out. That'll be a ground rule double. And 3 outs to get, and Herrera starts it with a 2-bagger. Let's check in with Sophia.
Well, today the Brewers placed Lorenzo Cain on the disabled list, and they're trying to get reliever Matt Albers off the DL as well. He's been dealing with right shoulder inflammation, but a good step forward for him today. He was on the field for the first time in about 2 weeks, and he was playing catch at about 60 feet, had 30 throws. Albers told me he was throwing probably between 65 and 70%. So he said for going 2 weeks without throwing, he feels pretty good about the session today. It was a good step forward for him to finally get on the field. So he'll continue with the throwing program, but he likely will not be back until after the All-Star break.
Take your time with him, and that's a valuable piece that the Brewers are anxious to get back. His velocity really dropped. You knew something was up with Matt Albers. He got off to a great start and then trying to pitch through it.
And because the velocity, was down, he was trying to find the corners and was working behind an account quite a bit. Walking batters, giving up hits, something he didn't do a whole lot of in the beginning of the year.
Gonna lose your setup man for maybe a month or so. You lost your closer for a month. Starting first baseman to begin the year, missed 7 weeks. 3/5 of your rotation, and yet the Brewers sit here in the perch in the Central. That speaks to the depth of the organization. And the talent that the Brewers have in their minor league system. These are good times right now. Hopefully the Brewers can keep it going. Learn something from last year. Had a 5.5 game lead at the All-Star break and sputtered down the stretch. There's a ground ball. Aguilar's got it. Barnes covers, and Aguilar hits him on the run. Good play over there.
Threw a seed over there. You could hear the glove pop of Barnes when he caught it. And nice backhand pickup, playing behind the bag, and look at this throw. Something on it. Right on the money. They get him easily.
Runner at third now with 1 away. Salvador Perez at the plate for the 4th time. Moustakas ends up 0 for 4. And there's a strike. 0-2 now on Perez. Just 1 RBI in his last 17 games. It has been a struggle for a guy they are counting on. He was 0 for 4 yesterday.
He's got 32 RBIs with 49 hits. It's not bad.
Got him. Barnes strikes him out in an RBI spot with the infield back and 1 out. Barnes comes up with a K to strand a runner at third.
Yeah, put a little extra on that cutter right there off the outside corner. Good pitch with 2 strikes.
Electric arm of Jacob Barnes. And this crowd of over 34,000 wants to see one more and put this one in the books. Cubs and Dodgers finally started their game. Oh, I beg your pardon. That's on the West Coast. Beg your pardon about that earlier. Dodgers with a 1-0 lead. They go to the 3rd inning there. Brewers put the pressure on the Cubs. Cubs in a tough stretch right now, playing against the Dodgers with Bryant on the disabled list. 2 balls, no strikes on Duda. And it's 3-0 now. Don't want to tempt fate. Got a 4-run lead. This game's been on cruise control from a pitching perspective.
Right. And that's exactly what Manny Pena's going out to say to Barnes. I mean, let's not walk this guy. Make him hit his way on. If he hits it out, so be it. But we can't be walking guys to bring the tying run to the plate, which would be on deck if he does walk, which would make it a save situation with Hader getting loose in the bullpen.
And Alex Gordon due next. Three and 0 the count. In there for a strike. Mets beat the Pirates tonight. Pirates continue to struggle. Mets beat them in 10 innings. Cardinals have come back on Kluber and the Indians. They lead 6-2 in the 3rd. Indians jumped out 2-0 quickly in that game in St. Louis. Three and 1. And we'll reset. Barnes trying to finish it off here. A hitter's count for Duda. And it's outside, ball 4. The Royals are mounting a threat with 2 outs in the 9th. Decision time for Counsell. And with a power hitter coming up, Counsell will not take any chances. He is going to call on Hader to try to finish this one off. The last guy you wanted to pitch in this game, if you're both teams, honestly.
Well, and the Brewers bullpen forcing now Josh Hader in the game. You're right. That's the last thing Counsell wanted to have to do.
Pitching change will set up Hader. 2 outs in the 9th in a 5-1 game. Council goes with his power lefty, Josh Hader. 2 outs, 9th inning. Save opportunity here for Hader, who has 6. Left-handers have just 3 hits against Hader this year. Left-handed batters, just 3 for 41. He has struck out 27 of the 41 lefties he has faced.
And he's given up only 1 run in his last 19 and 2/3 innings. Last appeared on Friday against the Cardinals. Struck out all 3 batters that he faced in the 6th inning.
Alex Gordon has never faced Josh Hader. 1st and 3rd. 2 men are out. Tying run on deck. And the Brewers an out away from a victory here in game 1. No balls and a strike on Gordon, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. In the air, center field, playable. Got a jam shot, and that will do it. The Brewers win. They beat the Royals tonight. Hader comes on. 2 pitches and a save. Yelich, Aguilar, and Braun all with home runs tonight. And the headliner, Freddie Peralta, 7 shutout innings, just 1 hit and 10 strikeouts. Save number 7 for Josh Hader. And the Brewers win this one 5-1. Peralta now 3-0 in his 4 big league starts. Let's check in with Craig DeShawn. It's time for Brewers Live on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
We named this show the Freddie Peralta postgame show. What a performance for him on the mound. Some impressive numbers we're going to go over. Brian Braun leading the home run crew here in a 5-1 Brewers victory over the Royals. Brewers Live is next.